set. I am Star Colonel Nikolai Malthus of the Jade Falcon clan. A full trinary stands ready to conquer your planet. What forces dare oppose us?
Is this some kind of joke?
You dare to refuse my bajal?
Refuse your what?
Prepare to feel the wrath of the Falcon's claws.
Alright, this is Kast, June 8th, 3050. All you had to do was follow my script. We have me, Connor Sinclair, and my co-host, Laser Angel.
Hi everyone, it's Laser Angel again.
YouTube statistics show our audience is between 20 and 40 years old. So, let's be mature. Fuck.
Right.
What's our first topic? Actually, no, let's introduce everyone.
Yeah, let's introduce everybody. We have Laser Angel, Cocaine Samurai.
I don't think he's speaking today.
He's quiet.
He's very quiet. We have Huge.
Hi there.
Jude, the voice of Kong.
Shut the hell up.
Kalos.
This is Kalos.
Molasses Fats.
Hi.
Whispers.
Hello.
And the infamous Visaggio Rain.
As always.
Alright, let's get started. We've got a lot to read out today. State of the game since March. The pulse of the game, the life support. How are we looking on the EKG machine? Well, RHOD seems to be gone.
Yeah.
Complicated
topic.
Looking at
the
their
forum
website.
itself, or on the website. Tell us more.
Yeah, on the website. I viewed the website, and it's like last time anyone posted or talked was the beginning of May, and they were trying to find referees. And a lot of the groups that are usually, on top, like Chaos and whomever, are not doing it. Chaos says they're playing FreeCell.
Oh, just to mention, on the past NGNG, they were going to recruit for A.C.E.S, and I think the next time I was there for another recording, they actually had a good turnout, so certain sectors are active.
True, but what good are these groups if you do not have an RHOD league?
Or anyone else to play with in general.
I was gonna touch upon that. What good is it to recruit if you don't have anywhere to play? 8-mans is...
Dead.
Well, everybody knows what's up with 8-mans. If RHOD is dying, then... might wanna do something, guys.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, they're talking about in 12v12 they're gonna have it. What is it? A drop of 4? Yeah, I think it's like a drop for 4. Laser.
In 12 versus 12, I think you will have to. You're going to be required to have 12 people, but they're eventually going to tweet.
Oh my god!
Yeah, you're going to have 12 people for 12 versus 12 in the 12-man coming soon.
I wonder how they're going to handle capping, because 5 lights with cap modules can take that cap instantly. Laser.
One more thing. I think it was A.C.E.S. I think we might have mentioned this in the previous podcast or on A.C.E.S Devs, maybe 38 or 39. Brian mentioned that they're going to increase the group span, so you'll have your 4-mans, and then you'll also you'll have 2 through 7. So once 12 versus 12, once they feel comfortable with the Matchmaker, you'll be able to make a 7-man.
Oh
wow!
Boy.
Like the old days.
Oh my god!
Mainly just worried about the time to kill going down to like nothing. I mean, with 12 mechs focus firing, we're not going to see much.
Laser.
On the recent Mechs Dev and Beer, we got to hear Brian and Paul, and we'll address that a little later, but they were looking into damage per second and time to kill and how that's changed with the host state rewind and soon to have more mechs in the match.
What's up, Huge?
Well, just touching on the time to kill, something I hope they kind of think about. It might actually help alleviate some of this death falling that we've been having, which makes the time to kill pretty much nothing, is spawning us in separate areas, getting us away from each other, letting us all group up in the very beginning. Because that does lead to everyone pretty much just magnetizing to each other, never leaving the group, and then it's whoever peeks out there head first that usually loses.
Visaggio?
Well, yeah, about that light capping. So, with 12 on 12, we're gonna be able to say... take 8 stalkers packed full of PPCs, and then we get a whole light wing for capping. I'm not looking forward to this, in all honesty.
Right, it's going to be 8-mans back in December, where it was like 4 long-range Gossipults and 4 Cap Module guys. They pull you out, you go out to close the distance on the Goss guys, and as you do that and run, they immediately turn around and they cap the shit out of you. Kalis?
On the recent Mech Devs and Beer, Brian had actually mentioned that the 12 Mech Death Ball could actually just be dealt with by flanking it, and if you use tactics, you're fine.
Use tactics.
I asked him about 12 Stalkers firing 4 PPCs apiece, hitting 360 damage against 1 mech, and I didn't get an answer, unfortunately.
No, I think they said use teamwork is what they said. You know, work with your be assertive. Work with your.
He said tactics.
Take lead. Take
Be
lead. Become company lance commander. Be assertive.
But the funny thing is huge.
No, that's just something I really, really, really hate that answer, because that is the answer to every single imbalance, to every single game since the beginning of time. Yes, you can beat it if you do stack the tables and you have the perfect situation, but it's how commonly can you pull it off, and it just annoys me when people say that.
Well, what gets me is that they've got this new command noise system. When I first saw it in the threads and people discovered it, they thought it was going to be sound files, sound macro, speech macro like Tribes has, the game that created it. And then what did we get? Beep, 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 beep. Nothing, not a damn thing. Beep. You cannot chat and talk really well when you're fighting. I have a hard time talking to people in a fight, and I'm trying to concentrate. And I know a lot of people have that hard time too. Telling them to type and take lead in a 4-man or out of nowhere, no, you're not going to be able to do it. What are we moving on here to? Host state rewind regression. Laser?
I'll be including a video link from someone who, I think it was May 29th, but overall ballistic weapons, shots are going into the void again. LRMs, missiles in general, SRMs need another tweak. I'm not sure what they're going to be like in 12 versus 12, because if they actually crank them back up to 2 damage, it's going to be fun for the carrier and not for the guy on the receiving end.
Let's look at the video. So, opening it up now. Okay, what do we got? A guy in a cataphract?
I can tell you, he's in a cataphract 3D and he fights a Jenner, and you'll see shots literally splash on the Jenner, but no hidden. You'll see the shots
like the
end.
days.
You'll see the shot end on the Jenner he's fighting, and no damage flash on the paper doll.
Oh yeah, I've got that with. I was fighting some Bravens and I had Gossipult, and I could not hit it. Dead end hit, even connection on larger mechs, and I was getting no. On a Highlander that was falling, and I had no connection. Vass?
Yeah, we were doing a whole lot of grind drops yesterday, and both of us in Ballistic Heavy Mechs, of course, trying to kill something. It's not pleasant.
It's not. Especially when you see all those sparks and no damage. Laser?
As Kalis mentioned in the chat, no splash damage. You're not getting like these weird PPC splash damages, but I think this is more sort of in preparation for and every like maybe 2 or the past 3 patches they've talked about adjusting network load and decreasing the amount of bandwidth, and that's when the whole malformed packet thing also sprung up. But they're trying. Just sort of on the name of this topic, host state rewind regression. It was great when host state rewind came out. You could hit things.
Yeah.
It was like it was wonderful. And now in preparation for 12 versus 12, it feels like it's sort of regressing again. And as I said before, every patch says, "Oh, we're making little network changes. We're making little network changes," and I think that's actually starting to impact host state rewind now.
Must have changed something.
No, yeah. Speaking of ballistic damage, I don't know. Like, I never really got into them, and then like Huge mentioned that dragon build with like the 3 AC2s, and I've never done better than with that dragon. I'm pulling like 630 damage rounds with them. Like you shoot so many times that like the couple times where like the bullets do kind of ghost through, you don't notice because you have like a million more bullets to, do
That's
the work for
because
them.
the AC2 is the new machine gun.
It really is.
It is. The AC2 is the new machine gun. It does 2 damage, per round, and then it has a really
put
great...
on those mechs without being a silly
One
build.
shot, half a second.
It feels like a linked machine gun set, is what it feels like, and it's perfect. Why can't machine guns be on the level close? Not exactly, because I would get rid of the AC2, but something Why can't they emulate it?
You know, this might just be one big misunderstanding. You know, we know they have different machines, they have different servers. Maybe on their end, the AC2 is labeled the machine gun. And they're going, well, what do you pricks
Good theory!
Machine
It's
gun,
working!
Maybe.
2,000 meter range.
Advanced Tactical Street Cat Drop.
Tell us, Sago, about the NGNGTV. Tell us a story about
that. I've seen photos and a few videos. I want to know your end.
Just a few. I thought I'd been keeping the whole forum on fire for about a month now. But yeah, basically, they changed certain things, and they didn't change certain other things. So we've been doing the legendary white whale drops for quite a long time now, even since before the BAP got changed. And
Elo's
then
actually tolerable.
Absolutely nowhere. And I mean, right out of nowhere, we get dropped against the NGNGTV guys. We don't know it's them, because who reads the chat when it's spammed, right? And we ruin them so fast. They melt. They melt in about a minute of fighting. And then we realize we've been on TV. And hey, you've been on TV. Everybody's been on that channel. That's okay. We click up again. Oh my god, we get them a second time. And of course we ruin them even harder. And someone over there gets a vendetta against us and tries to kill us. Yeah, we'll provide video links to that.
Yeah, I'll see if we can find that old video for NGNGTV.
It's quite the experience, especially from their point of view, because they're the ones who take the missiles to the face.
It makes Elo
It's
tolerable
scary.
because you can actually kind of run the enemy team by yourself. Huge, weren't you? Didn't we kill you when you were in an awesome? Tell us about that.
Oh my god! Yeah, I was. I was not invited to this particular group. I got shunned out of this one, so I was going to go drop in my awesome 9M, and we got on Frozen City, and I dropped against him. I went, oh shit. To be on the other end of that is
Quite scary, isn't it?
It's like being swarmed to death by flying piranha. I can't explain it. Like, there's no words that can fully articulate how annoying it was to try to fight that. You didn't know what mech was mech, because they're all white. That was another annoying thing. They're all painted the same. You can't focus them down. You had to change targets every 5 seconds. It was just chaos. Utter chaos.
Yeah, it's no real fun to fight those, and they always hit the CT. How was the shake? Was the shake any good?
It's terrible.
The shake was annoying. Yeah. It was more the explosion that kind of got in your cockpit that was was kind of screwing you up. One thing I will say, you guys were not invincible. We did start getting down a couple of ears. I started targeting ears right off the bat. And we did kind of cripple a few of you. It wasn't enough to save us, but the way it works is that it just creates a level of, if your team does not have this much coordination, you have already lost. Nothing else matters. Doesn't matter about personal skill. If you cannot coordinate enough DPS on very specific mechs, they're going to beat you. So it's going to rock all pubs and even against 8-mans.
Yes,
unless they're specifically ready to handle it.
I can talk about the 8-man because we did how many drops? We did about a week of 8-man drops.
2 weeks of drops, even with ECM on, and they were getting rolled.
That's when we got the initial training done. During ECM, when BAP didn't block it, it's still, you just lose.
God, what was I going to say? I was going to say something about the A1. Oh yeah, if they basically bring back missile damage like I think they are on streaks, it's going to be homing AC-20 and AC-10 on the Streak Cat.
Jeez.
But that's basically what I'm predicting. I don't think they're going to do anything about it. I think they're going to bring back missile damage. Just for those, I always like to note this and let players know. PGI always does their balancing in a round format, right, Laser?
Yeah, it's in a cycle that goes, what is it? Missiles, lasers, ballistic. MLB. Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball. Just tell yourselves that, Golds. MLB. That way you'll know what weapon you're getting balanced on. Let's talk about something PGI has done good for once. We don't do this often. This is like, what, the second time we've done this?
Yeah, it's the second time.
All right. Poptarting and jump jets with screen shake and reticle shake.
Yeah!
It's a good thing. I love it.
Gone,
yes,
yeah.
I love it.
It took care of everything. You could still fire missiles on the move, and do what you need to do, but you can't fucking headshot anyone. Jude?
Didn't they make it so the reticle shake actually goes away as soon as you stop jump jetting? So, like, when you're on the way back down?
Yeah,
that's correct.
It kind of kills the whole thing.
Yeah, that kind of doesn't really fix Poptarting at all then, because you just let go and shoot right away.
Molasses?
I'll say Poptarting for the most part is gone. I think it's more difficult now. I think it's less of just like hey, this is super easy and I'm doing really good. I think now it requires a little bit of effort since you have to time your shot the second you start falling. So that kind of gives it a bit more of a skill edge there, I guess. But to be honest, I barely see any Poptarting anymore, which is great.
Barely see Highlanders, period.
That's
huge.
Just 2 quick points. What he said is true. You know, when you're not jump jetting, it does stop shaking, but the entire way up, it is shaking like a demon, and the second you let go, you start dropping. You don't have that much time to correct. You have to already kind of be on your target. So it does really, really raise the amount of aiming you have to do beforehand. And also, on the other end of the spectrum, for light mechs and small fast mechs that use jump jets, it's also kind of cool. It's annoying because, I mean, my aim has now gone to crap, but I feel, I don't know, I feel like I got a stage 5 rocket underneath my ass every single time I fly by.
Immersion-y, yeah.
Yeah,
immersion.
Awesome.
Feels like you're in a jet. Kalis?
Yeah.
One of the nice things about the jump jetting, the Poptarting, is they have to be at the top of their arc, so they have to jump jet higher. They're not just jump jetting to the top of the building. To do it properly, you have to go all the way up and then like wait that second while you're like floating at the apex of your arc, and then you can fire. What that also does is it lets people return fire a lot better. It's much easier to hit Pop-Tarters now.
Vass, you've been saying quite a bit down below. Would you like to enlighten us on everything?
I've covered most of it while I was typing that out.
Oh, just reiterate it.
Basically, if you're not good, you can't Pop-Tart. You can still get up close and laser people in brawls like you're supposed to, and jump over people, shoot them in the ass with your lasers, which is good, that's how it should be. But you can't sit 800 meters out and shoot people in the face with ERPPCs anymore. So problems pretty much solved.
I know the screen shakes, but I'm not entirely sure it actually like it makes your gun or anything shake. Because I tried firing a laser while shaking it, it's still straight.
Yeah.
So you can still fire on your way up as long as you know kind of guess where it's going to hit. I mean, like long range Pop-Tarting, no, it's going to be pretty tough. But short range stuff you can still do.
Laser.
I think Visago has a GIF he posted earlier where it shows like all the weapons firing, but they all come out at different points, so it creates a big spread. But I flew around in my catapult yesterday, and it is harder to LRM Pop-Tart as well. It's just a little bit harder, but I'm not sure because it was against ECM, and I'd have to tag and lock on my LRMs and jump it all at the same time, so I can't really give any useful information about that. In addition, Garth on the previous NGNG said that the sort of shake is based on the jump jet class that you have on your mech itself. So you know how we all have the different jump jets like class 1 through 4, etc. That's how they control the tweaking. So, and they also talked about tweaking it slightly for the light mechs, since you're not going to be having 4 or 5 PPCs on a Jenner, and the shake sort of complicates a Jenner running around or a Trebuchet jumping around. When it should be tougher for a heavy mech like the catapult, or even more so for a Highlander, which is a flying brick. It shouldn't be that accurate. It should fly like a brick.
And it doesn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the spiders really, like a lot of those single PPC spider builds are really dependent on jetpacking. So like that shake is probably really fucking them over.
Let's talk about weapons that don't work now that we're done with weapons that do and things that do. Let's talk about pulse lasers. Because that's a whole set of weapon. Yeah, whoop. Paul said he's going to normalize pulse lasers. What do we think that means? Does anybody have an idea what he's talking about? Laser?
I think you can't really play the heat. You can't really adjust the heat. Or I know you've mentioned before that you should just have a continuous beam. And you just hold it down, and it just goes whoop, 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 and you generate heat the whole time. It's just like a lava beam. That's what people. I don't know what. Right. Yeah, Link Gun, Unreal.
Link Gun, Unreal, or the lightning gun on Quake.
Yeah, just a continuous beam. Lightning gun is something that I've seen before, kind of like the Mech Warrior 3 pulse lasers. Something simple would increase the damage by 1 on all of them.
Kalos?
I think that he might be talking about normalizing the recycle time on them. Maybe getting it all to be the same, which would make them a little more useful, I think.
They'd probably end up reducing heat when they did that too, or at least I'd hope. And it would make it closer to what pulse lasers actually are. I'd like that.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
They need to be worth the heat and the damage
and
to
the
carry for brawling.
And the space.
No, that's one crit, 2 crits, just like the standard versions. It just weighs more.
Very heavy guns.
What I mean is, it has to be worth it, though.
Yeah, like I want to carry 2 medium pulse lasers on the chest of my Atlas because my arms are off. That's all I got left. I need to face hug brawl you, but no, I usually carry mediums.
Right. Let's see, what are we moving on to? Talk about the ELO Matchmaker, Steamroll or Steamrolled? That is the question.
Is Whispers ready with his little segment about this?
Yeah,
Whispers, are you? All right,
Whispers talk, guys. Go for it.
So, ELO is a decent system when talking about 1 versus 1 competition, like chess, where it originates. And it's specially designed around a 2-player game. It's useful for comparing 2 players, and be used as a predictor of the outcome of a match. ELO is more or less meaningless in a team game, especially where the game modes are a joke, and you can win a match by not fighting at all. Don't like 2 red squares? How about 5? I've often thought about how to properly implement a system of ranking, besides the obvious, making actual fun, useful game modes, which would make the game more interesting and fair for all. Tie into Battletech lore, encourage teamwork, prevent gamey behavior from abusing it, or boring behavior, such as running away to preserve a kill-death ratio. It should also work consistently, regardless of changes to game modes or gameplay. Step 1. Create a new ranking system. Rank is based on kills, assists, and overall damage dealt. Kills only count if you do more than 50% of all damage dealt to a particular destroyed mech. Final shot doesn't matter. No getting in the last shot to steal a kill. Assists only count if you do more than 10% of all damage dealt to a destroyed mech. No tagging each enemy mech for a split second with your laser to grab an assist. Damage dealt is divided by tonnage. This is key. So the lighter the mech, the more the damage you do is weighed. Step 2. Ranking is only used to calculate your tier. There are 5 tiers and are divided by population. Green is the bottom 30% of all ranking. Regular is 30 to 60% of the ranking. Veteran is 60 to 80% of the ranking, Elite is 80 to 95, and Ace is the top 5% of the ranking. Tiers are visible next to all pilots' names. Rankings are not. Everyone starts at the green tier in all weight classes. Once you hit Veteran tier in any weight class, all your other weight classes start in regular, even if you're not there already. Rankings work on averages, not outliers. You cannot move up a tier until you've done at least 25 matches at the previous tier. This will limit people jumping up and down tiers when they're first starting. Rankings are time-limit, to a degree. Once you've completed more than 50 matches, only your last 50 matches or the last 50% of matches you've played, whichever is greater, is used to place your ranking. Matches that you fought when you were green are not really relevant if you're fighting at Elite. Likewise, if you're showing steady improvement, it should not take forever for your ranking to reflect that. Step 3. Pub matches are generally based around a single tier. You can fight someone from a tier above you or below you, but you should never see more than 2 tiers in any pub match. So an all-green match is okay, or a combined Elite and Ace match is okay. This will mostly depend on the player population at any given time. Groups that are very mixed tiered, 4-mans, 8-mans, whatever, fight at the tier of their highest player, or outside of the tier system against other groups who also choose to do so.
Is that all, Whispers? Sounded great.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone want to try to discuss that?
Why?
Yes, I do. We used to have 2 ELO specialists in Kong that knew all about chess ELO and everything that is required in it. One was Julian Huxley, and he was actually a chess player from India. Yeah, and then the second one was Lyderos. We've lost both of them.
Lyderos is around. Julian was playing this morning, so
Julian
it depends.
shows up from time to time, and then Lyderos is just sort of
there's a screenshot yesterday, just yesterday, oh my god, Lyderos is playing MechWarrior Online.
Yeah,
go
on.
on.
I was there.
Everybody came back when Poptarting died.
Well, Lateros is always around. He's just usually playing War Thunder instead.
Right. He's actually got a thread where he's predicted our ELO problems. I'm going to drop that link now.
I'll include it in the notes.
right? And it's very interesting to read, and it just shows that we've been on PGI's case about a lot of things. And that's that. Does anybody want to discuss that or have anything to add?
I think Whisper's sort of his segment, his expert segment.
Well,
he said what he thought. He said what he thought would be the best solution to the existing system, while sort of also including ELO into that matrix. So
I'd like to add something in layman's terms here. One of the problems with the ELO that we currently have, and the way ELO actually works, is in ELO, everyone has the same set pieces. Everyone can use the same pieces. In BattleTech, in this game, Mech Warrior, it's what everyone brought. So you don't know, and you're never on equal footing. Battle value and tonnage can be way off. I mean, I'm sure I'm just reiterating something you said, but still, we are not playing on equal terms.
Yeah, the board isn't always set up the exact same way. We don't have the same number of pawns, the same number of other pieces.
Right. May have more rooks than us.
Some of their pawns have seismic.
Yeah, some of their pawns have seismic. Let's talk about a new mech. We've got a new mech coming. The Orion was thrown to the side. We now have
4 months.
Quickdraw. Yeah. We now have the Quickdraw, and it's lighter than most of the other heavies we have, and I'm wondering how useful it's going to be. I'm thinking it's going to be like the Dragon. It's basically going to be a heavy or medium laser.
This also sort of leads into there's going to be another we were expecting the content drought once launch actually happened, and this just shows that there's like another round of 4 more Inner Sphere mechs. But on top of that, the Quickdraw, it's 60 tons, it's as fast as the Dragon, but instead of wasting all that tonnage on a ballistic hardpoint, it uses missiles. And I love the art too, but there are only really 3 variants, because one of them uses like a one-shot tube, and the other one just moves the rear-facing weapons forward. So, in this game, there are existing stock builds with rear-facing weapons, but PGI has decided, like on the Atlas and the Dragon, to move those weapons forward-facing. So I'm expecting 4 medium lasers, SRM4, LRM10, but there's one 3050 or 3049 variant that just has 4 medium lasers and an SRM. So I thought to myself, they're probably going to put 2 missile points in the chest, 4 lasers, that's 6 hard points. How can they differentiate it? I'm not the originator of this. I think it was on one of IGP's, one of Phil's streams, where he said, oh, well, this might be the ECM heavy.
Ooh. We have a new drop-in right now.
Can they do that?
Lightros, can you speak?
I can.
Do you want to go over ELO? We just covered it, but we'd like your thoughts on it.
We've only moved up about a minute from it, so
Amber plugged you.
Yeah, I was told that's why I'm coming. I don't know what you brought up so far yet.
We brought just about everything. We went over everything from no one's on the same playing field because everyone has different weapons and equipment or different mechs. It's not the same board every time. Just give us your interpretation, and we've linked up your thread, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, the base of ELO is that you create a numeric value to match players against each other. That works very well in chess or other one-on-one situations, or on team games if you have consistent teams that do not change too much, like football teams or something. But in MechWarrior Online it can't go for several reasons. First, you have a random team each game, and even if you drop in a fixed 4-man or 8-man, you may change the mechs, you may change the modules, the weapons, everything. So you have a constantly changing situation on this side. The next thing is you have different maps, and all that makes it practically impossible to calculate it on this particular base. But what you can do is mix the result of the game, not like PGI does it, just take the whole result and give the ELO appropriate to everyone after that. Instead, take the value that you have from the match, and in addition use hit values like how much percent you did hit, or how much percent of your mech was damaged before you got destroyed, so you see how good was the piloting, the movement. There are several ways to do that, and this way you would get a value that is much nearer at a proper ELO value and not so much random.
Alright, is there anything else on the ELO? Or should we move back out to the Quickdraw?
Are we good, Lightros?
I'm fine. I've written down my thoughts there mostly, so no need to waste time.
Okay,
Alright,
we'll link them to the thread. And
Germans, man, so efficient.
Thank you for the input,
Exactly.
Lideros.
Thank you,
Alright.
Lideros. So we're going back to the quick draw. I think it's going to be a hunchback, a heavier hunchback, quite literally. Laser?
I think someone asked Brian on Twitter, why did you pick the quick draw over the Orion? And Brian's response was something along the lines of that better fit the current meta. Yeah, it's the meta. Brian didn't really expand upon that, but my thoughts is that given the current state of heavy alpha PPC boating, even with a standard engine, you can kind of sort of zombie on it. It's fast. It's faster than it goes 89, 81, then 89 with speed
goes
tweak.
Precisely the same speed as a Dragon. It has the same engine max, same everything.
I
Boat
think
some lasers, boat some SRMs, get some ECM, get up in the face of a alpha boat, and just circle around him, and where he can't get a hit on you.
I think if it can twist well, it can definitely get behind like Atlases and core them out with some lasers and SRMs. I think it can be easily a spin fighter. Strafe those enemies, do the circle of death, that sort of thing. It also makes
Commando's evolution. That's a big babby.
Yeah, it also makes me wonder if SRMs are getting boosted at all.
It might happen.
Yeah, because I don't think we're still out of the missile drought yet.
But yeah, 4 additional Intersphere mechs. We know the Victor got picked as the assault, so I'm hoping for the Banshee coming up.
Let's pad some content here, and let's talk about mechs that we don't have that we really probably should or want. I'm sure Vass has a few, and I've got one that's really obvious. And it could be one of the mechs that are coming up. Kalis, you got one?
Yeah, we are lacking a 55-ton striker. The Dervish fits the role, it's in the right era, and it has enough variance.
I kind of like that. Yeah, I can see that. I've got one. I want to see a Mauler. We need a ballistic-oriented assault. I want a Mauler.
Grab deal.
A Mauler, or an Annihilator would be alright, but I want a Mauler because it's got a much more wide array of weapons. Laser?
Yeah, I was watching a Mech Warrior Living Legends video, and there's a segment where it has the Mauler, and I see it fire all of its missiles, and I'm like, wow, I want shoulder missiles and chest guns and arm
Shoulder
lasers.
box missiles, because you know
the
they
big
have
boxes.
them. Yeah. Kalis?
I don't think PGI is going to do it, but we could always pray that they'll put the Imp in. It's a 100-tonner.
Oh, God.
It's as fast as an Atlas, but its loadout is you're looking at 2 ER PPCs, an LRM-15, a large pulse laser, 2 medium pulse lasers, and 2 medium lasers. I mean, it's an energy boat. It's nasty.
Huge.
I want the Uziel. I know we technically can't have it yet,
Yeah,
but I want it.
That's FedCom. Laser?
I think Cocaine Samurai posted in the chat, and I'll include the link, that FD, or Alex Iglesias, mentioned, and has a post here, that the Orion wasn't intentionally pushed back and it hasn't been replaced. I just made the Orthos for the quick draw before the Orthos for the Orion, and that's it.
Vass, what mech do you want? I think we all know what one it is.
I have a few. For
Well,
instance,
the
I want my
obvious
Phoenix Hawk, and I want my
God.
fucking Rifleman. But the odds of that happening...
No, what about the other one? The other one. You know what the one, Vass. The BK?
Mauler?
No, the BK.
The Black Knight! Oh yes. Please. Can I have my energy boat already? Looks good, and isn't that awesome? Please.
I'm kind of surprised that the Mauler wasn't even included, because it's an iconic mech of this era, and I don't think the Dracs really have an assault mech, do they? I don't think they have one of their mechs from their area. So, we're missing a ballistic-oriented mech. The Victor doesn't really cover it as well because it has no side torso ballistics. And the Mauler would really fit that niche and give a very rounded weapon loadout. Jude?
We need a ballistic mech, you say? Well, it's never going to happen because it's about the shittiest mech in existence, but speaking as someone straight out of TG, I want the Irby in.
Nah.
Oh, God. Yeah,
we have to have some maps that actually make it good.
Why don't we have the Irby? I mean, we've
Because
got
it's
the
a piece of
Flea.
shit.
We
Because
know why
Flea.
we can't have the Irby.
Come on. The
I know.
Irby.
Should we move on to the next topic now?
Oh, I suppose. We got the Firebrand and not the Rifleman. I mean,
it's
you gotta be
the
happy about
fireman,
that.
AK,
mad.
Rifle brand.
AKA not the rifleman.
God, come on.
I got
Don't
my
you-
rifle brand. I might grab deal that
Rifle
someday.
brand.
I've seen
Yeah.
Phil running the 2 AC5, 2 large laser, 2 mediums, and whatever ranking he's in, he's doing a good job with it. Like plus 400, 500, 600 damage in it.
I think it's a premium Jaeger bomb, personally.
That's what it is.
I've seen people use it like that, which I
Yeah.
don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, it does have varied hard points, and some people like that. Because they are a fan of Jaegers, we have got somebody who keeps giving me a hard time. And, yeah, I can't blame them. But, it's just a premium Jaeger bomb to me. It's a good moneymaker, yeah.
Yeah, it's unique enough with the energy hard points, but yeah, you do see Jaeger bomb dual AC20.
If you get bored of it when you're making money, you can just rip it out with all that cash you had and turn it into something else.
Put a bunch of UACs in, spam
yeah.
medium lasers.
AC2s, PPC.
All cool.
Get some LBXs in there.
Yeah, LBXs are great. We should
The
talk
best
about that.
weapon in the game.
Yeah, should we talk about the way LBXs have been lately? They're pretty good.
Sure. Let's talk about LBXs because I love the damn thing, too.
There's been a new build that we made here in Kong. It's called the Chigger. The Noisy Cricket, we all know, is just nothing but PPCs and a cicada. But the Chigger is, I think it's like 3 or 4 medium lasers and an LBX-10, and you can backcore and shut down quite a few mechs. Huge?
Yeah, I've been doing the Chigger. I just actually mastered it the other night, and oh god, it is fun.
What mech is it on?
Is it a blackjack?
It's a cicada.
Oh, it's
It's
a
a
cicada.
cicada with-
With an
makes sense.
LBX-10 and 4 medium lasers.
Chigger, right, it's a bug.
Yeah.
Actually, I only did the 3 small lasers. She is a little bit. The LBX is kind of a fat bitch to put on that thing. It's only a 35-ton mech or a 40-ton mech, and 11 tons plus at least 2-3 tons for ammo. It's quite a bit, but it does work. The LBX it just has incredibly fast recycle time, no heat generation. As long as you're close, it does what it's supposed to do. So it works
Shuts down
well.
weapons. Great, I've seen it in action. Jude?
Honestly surprised anyone actually managed to get any use out of the LB10X AC, because, the reason it worked in tabletop is because you couldn't specifically aim at a part, so it was really good for getting criticals after you stripped armor off anything. And in the previous MechWarrior games, I believe the LB10X AC was just a stronger AC.
It's actually a shotgun for once instead of a slightly different
Right.
autocannon.
Yeah, MWO is the first MechWarrior game where it's actually more like the tabletop.
Yeah, Legends actually had the mech shotgun, but in MechWarrior 3, it's just a slightly different autocannon that shoots pellets. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm hoping-
and in MechWarrior 4, it was just a half-range AC that did, double damage or something.
Yeah, I got a damage bonus. I'm hoping that machine guns get sort of another crit boost or something. I'd like to see them pretty much shut down and destroy, anything that's not armored, because currently they're still kind of wonky. But it's good that, LBX has gotten a huge boost. Laser?
On the subject of machine guns, I've seen there was one drop where we had 3 or 4 Jaegers on the other lance, and I asked them, "You guys are like AC-20 Jaegers, right?" And they're like, "No, we're 6 machine guns." And I thought to myself, "We're gonna get wrecked immediately." It was in River City. We immediately go upper, and they just tear. I think
I was actually there for that. That was a ridiculous round.
yeah, that was ridiculous. They're getting like 400 or 500 damage, and we won like 8-1. We only lost one of the Jaegers, and they got a bunch of kills, crit out a bunch of stuff with 6 machine guns, and I have no idea what their supplementary weapons were. I've seen dual large pulse lasers in the torso there.
Yeah,
or
it seems
mediums.
to work. Seems to work when it's the Jaegers and there's a ton of them, but on the individual
Well,
basis...
it's the same as a street cat. As long as you have coordination and a bunch of dudes, you're probably alright.
Yeah. I guess we've got Ask the Developers, number 39 answers.
We've got
Brian
Kalis to sort
on
of
MWO. Kalis?
Well, my segment's a little bit on Ask the Devs and testing, as far as Brian is concerned in PGI. So basically, I'm talking about testing. This is basically what we know from what we have learned previously. They have 2 types of testers. Internal PGI testers, which are some dedicated testers, and most likely most of the devs. This is not really beneficial due to the fact that they test 12v12 internally. This has been confirmed. They also don't have lag, and they work off of a different build than what goes live, and this has been confirmed previously as well. After internal testing, they send it to IGP, who have some midterm testers as well, and we have a small group of players who test. This means that IGP test PGI test in their ivory tower, which doesn't replicate lag, ping, or anything really, so it has no basis on reality. Also, they test 12v12, which of course means nothing to the game we play. Another thing to note they have stated time and time again is that they test a feature no less than 1 month before release, accepting hot fixes. That being said, I believe that Brian does little or no testing and relies on others to understand the game, since he only looks at the game from his mountain of data and telemetry. It's clearly demonstrated on several ATDs that he has stated things that have no basis on reality. One point I want to bring up is specifically in ATD number 38. The question was as follows. What is the team's stance on the issue of entry requirements being raised? Currently, for a mech to be usable, it needs to be upgraded by DHS, double heat sinks, endosteel, and have all its efficiencies skilled up. Otherwise, it's skipping itself in the match. There are already mentions of expanded pilot trees, epics, and such, and it may very well become a serious issue. Thus, I would like to know the official stance on this. Brian retorts with, "This is entirely subjective. It depends on which level you play at. From my 1 in 100s of thousands of player view, I can roll into a match with a stock mech and be very competitive, and get lots of enjoyment. I may not be able to compete for first place all the time, but I can usually place in the top 8, no sweat. Your skill and ELO rating will definitely drive the level of competitive play you will face, and therefore the requirement to bring a more efficient upgraded mech to the match. This is working as intended and plays nicely in how a player's skill and inventory evolve over time." My response to this is not the truth, as anyone who plays the game longer than a month can attest to. We all know that stock mechs run too hot, don't have enough ammo, and generally just poor and not competitive at all. Basically, after reading the last ATD, number 39, I was rather disappointed. I wasn't so angry, but I feel that the ATD is almost pointless right now. Brian clearly doesn't play this game publicly. He has no grasp on the meta game that is, and simply is too disconnected to make informed decisions or answer questions properly. Not to mention he backtracks himself or just straight out lies. It's really not useful anymore, which is kind of sad. The information he says isn't even relevant due to them changing their position at the time. In Brian's words, I'd like to say, ATD is now deprecated due to the telemetry showing that the person in charge doesn't have enough data to answer the questions properly. The new feature is Twitter. Check that for any new and relevant information.
Yeah, I have to say that Twitter, even with A.C.E.S developers, it coincides so closely to the actual patch days that any information that he'll sort of divulge for sort of in the near term, not stuff that he's talking about UI 2.0, which seems to be the catch-all answer. And I like what they're doing with UI 2.0, the scalability, and I really want to see public test servers in 12 versus 12. But the A.C.E.S developers formats, I know we've been pushing them to go to YouTube and Twitch stream, take a video of someone at the office, or do A.C.E.S developers on a YouTube, or do a Twitch where stuff is almost on the bleeding edge of what's actually being done, without, divulging too much of the secrets inside of what's going on in PGI.
Whispers?
But it does kind of explain some things. I mean, these people don't actually play their own game.
I have to say that They do. You see Brian, you'll see Garth, and frankly I have to say, since Garth is usually the one playing the game the most, Garth is pretty good. You can't deny that Garth is actually a pretty good player in the Cicada. Right. Yeah, Garth is good. He plays the game, and I appreciate, and we sort of come to a greater understanding of Garth's position as community manager. He plays the game live with the public a lot, and he's also sort of the chain that we try to use on the forums or in NGNG or even in the stream to sort of pass up the stream ideas that we have, and I'm a bit wary to see if Garth's. I can see Garth passing up the ideas, and since he's actively in the game a lot more than some of the other developers who might not have as much time, I'm unsure if it's all going up to the chain and being read.
But I'm worried that most of their playing style and information and development ideas come from they're playing 8-mans versus each other or something on their own server and not really interacting with the meta overall.
Kalos?
Well, specifically, they stated before in one of the ATDs and in several forum posts that they test 12v12 internally. And keep in mind, they didn't have ballistic lag like we had for the longest time, and they didn't have any kind of lag because it was all local on a different build. So they're kind of on an ivory tower. And I mean, there are devs that play publicly. I mean, Garth does, Brian Buckton does. I've seen Thomas out a bunch of times, but beyond that, other than a couple IGP guys, I don't see a lot of devs.
I've seen Brian, and he plays all right and everything. It's just the only problem from when I've seen Brian Buckton play is that I don't think he interacts with the game on the level that every other player's doing. He's doing things like, I think he said he's
a programmer.
He's responsible for how ECM interacts, but I don't think he does anything else. I think he might only be doing sensors. Well, I guess if that's the case, we should ask him about seismic sensor and getting real radar. Kalos?
Oh, I wanted to specify that when I'm saying Brian in my segment earlier, I meant Brian Ekman, as in the creative director.
I understand that. I was talking about Brian.
I just wanted to make sure other people understood that.
That's why I said Buckton. I wanted to specify.
Yeah, he's a spider pilot, and sometimes it's pretty good.
I think I've seen him in
spider.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a spider on
I've
Awesome.
I've seen him in the Mega Man spiders with the PPC.
Oh God, I hate those.
I lost a duel to him.
So useless. UE 2.0.
Yeah, UI 2.0.
Catch-all answer. Let's talk about that. I still call it Grand Theft Smurfy. It's basically Smurfy.
I hope they consulted him on that.
I really do, because that is actually good. I don't mind it. I actually like that they're sort of getting things from different sources. Vass?
Yeah, like Connor says, I'm very glad they're bringing Smurf in, or at least stealing straight from him. Because he's got a perfect, it's just perfect. They need graphics there, but otherwise it's completely functional. Everything is explained. Why didn't they use this earlier? That's
the best form of flattery is theft, just like Whisper says. And I wish they'd steal me for balancing. I really do, because I
rage too much.
I break this game on a weekly basis, and I try to predict their movements and try to break the game. And what I do is I use action, since I can't be like Vass and be this paragon image of the community or anything. I'm not real fun to be around or talk to, but I get things done.
You're just abrasive.
I get things done. I make Concast within 24 hours.
That's me. I'm the editor here.
I know. All right, look. This thing wouldn't even been put together had I not mentioned it.
I know.
We threw it together so hardcore it wasn't even funny. But I really would. Like, I'd like to see them pull that olive branch. It would be a step in the right direction for them to talk to certain people about balance and elo and anything, but I'm wondering
Connor?
What's that?
Can I get in a second on the UI 2.0? Oh, okay. I believe Brian called the current UI we have right now UI 1.5. We used to have 1.0 back in closed beta and all the way back then, but he said in Mechs Dev and Beer, I was there for the recording, that 2.0 is, full screen, scalable, all these charts, graphs, sales won't take the server down, but 1.0 and 1.5, the whole one version of the UI is that they took interfaces from existing free-to-play games and said, most of them run in this 1280 by 720 window, and they have sort of this tab format, and they went with existing, works for other games. Kayla says League of Legends and World of Tanks. And yeah, I remember when I first saw the MechWarrior Online interface, it was like, hey, this is World of Tanks interface. But in the long run, they're starting to see that there's so much overwhelming information that it's a new player. Like, there's no tutorial, but UI 2.0 is going to have a tutorial, and I've heard they're even going to get like a gold mech. I'm sorry. They're going to get like a mech after they've completed the tutorial. And I know World of Tanks, when you complete the tutorial, they give you like so much gold. So who knows? They might give you like 250 MC to buy a paint or a color or something. Or here's a free mech bay because you completed the tutorial. Stuff like that. And those are the things that they're trying to aim for. I hate to say it, but they've kind of burned out the founders and the people who have been since the open beta. And UI 2.0, I'm going to speculate that sort of their push for Steam and making it more attractive for the wider base and much more easy to get into. I mean,
if this goes on
good
Steam,
luck.
If this goes on Steam, there's going to be a big storm.
Kalish next.
I want to make one more.
Shitty new people.
Okay, Connor, then Kalos.
One more comment. Basically, I remember way back that when everyone told me that no one was going to use Smurfy and everyone was going to still use the Java client, and now PGI is ripping off of Smurfy, and it's just that's it. Okay, let's go ahead and go.
One of the things about UI 2.0 that has me a little worried, if you go through any of the ATDs, the Ask the Devs, you're going to see a lot of questions answered, but when UI 2.0 comes out. And that just smacks a little bit too much of a Jesus patch.
Yeah, it's a catch-all.
We all know that don't actually work that way. So it's just a concern of mine. Remember the Christmas patch?
Oh god, yeah, you guys are gonna love it. It's gonna be epic. Or every time Brian tells us something epic's gonna happen, and then it's like a low resolution screenshot of a map. Although I will admit, Canyon Network is like the best goddamn map ever.
Everyone loves it.
God.
You deserve praise for that, PGI.
Why can't you make more maps like that?
Just make it white and call that a new map. Just call it Snow Canyon.
Yeah, Snow Canyon.
Lava Canyon.
Whoa.
Night Canyon.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Canyon at night?
Ooh.
Well, I did say Night Canyon, so yeah.
It would be pretty. It would be
Actually,
very
wait,
pretty.
take it back. I don't want to waste next 2 weeks.
Snowstorm Canyon.
Snowstorm Canyon. All right, Vas, go.
Yeah, on the subject of Jesus patches. Hey, remember when we were gonna have DirectX 11?
Oh no.
Hey.
All right, I'm
Remember?
going to bring this up since we don't even have it on our topic list, and it'll give us more time and everything.
Just that we know this Jesus patching. We've had it before. Don't get your hopes up.
For a long
until we have
time,
some
I thought
concrete
the fact that
information.
we were on DirectX 9 was holding me back and holding a lot of players back. I figured out what it is. Those of you who might be listening and are having issues with frame rate and the game in general, the game does not have a drop-down list for selecting your video, your GPU. So the game was essentially running off my onboard video. I'm gonna repeat that. It was running off my onboard video on my motherboard and not my expensive video card. I had to force it like a hooker on a fat dude. I had to get into my NVIDIA control panel and physically, tell it to, hey, this game, give all the power.
Yeah, you have to go into
somehow.
I had to do video card. Well, it's funny because I had gone into the control panel repeatedly over the course of a year, and it's kind of like one of those things where there's something under your nose. You left your keys in the room, and you know it's there, like on the table somewhere, and you keep going back, and you think it's there, but you're not entirely sure. And you keep going back, and you keep going back. Finally, you give up, and you lean on the table, or you lay your head down, and then you see it just right there in front of you. And you're like, God damn it, it was there the whole time. It was off to the side, or under the phone. But it's
a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I don't know how it did that, but some people have went in and done the Connor solution, and it works. They can play now.
We've got Dashing can now play the game. Some of you have known Dashing in the Concast thread and in the threads in general, and the way he talks and the way he's kind of funny. He has not been able to play the game. He has been in the shitstorm that I have, where it's 15 FPS. He now gets 30 and 40 from time to time. I get a solid 50 to 60, 240 on certain maps with certain issues. But if you've got onboard video, I would look into whatever control panel, ATI or NVIDIA you got, and force it on there to get it to run. Okay, Laser?
One last thing. I know you mentioned sort of the awesome patch or the Jesus patch. Was it December 18th? The patch before Christmas where they were gone for a month.
Yes.
It was amazing. We played that a month with nothing, but I remember before that we had to always have like egg timers. I think we mentioned this before in an earlier cast. We had egg timers. Like once it hit 30 minutes, gotta restart the client. And that December, I gotta reboot my computer. December the Stalker patch got rid of that, and we still had lag and all that other stuff, but at least
Gold Vision.
And Gold Vision. I remember distinctively on one of the drops, 4 frames per second Gold Vision. Yeah, those old. Remember those guys? But
the thing that kills me is that every time they patch, they didn't even show when they got rid of it. They don't show us when they got rid of Gold Vision or broken maps. So when we think about it, we're like trying to figure out what time frame it stopped.
Yeah, but I remember back in December. After all that voodoo we used to do, that someone said in the middle of a match, wow, I've actually been streaming this game for 3 hours now and I haven't had to restart my client.
Yeah, I had the same reactions. Like, oh my god, what did you do? I'm not used to this.
I could start the game up and actually play and see my cursor.
I guess we're getting close to closing it out, Connor, unless there are any other topics you want to cover.
Not many. I think we're pretty much good. See what I've got listed down. Oh, yes, we do have a few things. Let's talk about... I guess Total Biscuit has been on the game the entire time, but does not discuss anything or doesn't even discuss it. He's been there. He is a Super Gold founder. Total Biscuit is a Super Gold founder who's been with us since the beginning, but he has not talked about the game. He has not played it. I don't know if this is because he wants to give the game more time, because it's definitely kind of this alpha blob, or the fact that he just doesn't trust it quite yet. But either way, he exists on the game, and he played one match or so. And he's I guess he's a total huge BattleTech fan.
Mech Tech, yeah.
And if you don't know who Total Biscuit is, I don't really care for him. Actually, I kind of hate his guts. But he's all right, I suppose.
You want me to link to him?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, put in a
all
link.
right, yeah, put a link.
We can plug him. He
deserves
a plug.
Yeah, he needs a plug. But the fact that he has not really communicated or done anything kind of shows a little bit of We're not selling out. Shush. A bit of mistrust. Either he's waiting to give it more time, or he's unsure, or he's just frightened of it, and that is not a good sign.
He doesn't want his word to make it go down in flames.
Right. He doesn't want his word to go down in flames, and he also wants to give the game kind of some time to shape, I'd say.
And on that subject, we actually had people who've been gone for 6 to 3 months, between 2 and 6 months, actually coming back and playing now. This patch, with the decrease in Poptarting and missiles being good enough, and a few weapons needing still tweaks here and there, and HUD bug is gone, malformed packet is gone. We've had some older players coming back.
There's still a lot of groups that don't even exist right now. Like, the ponies are gone.
Heavy losses for the ponies.
I guess that's
Do you have any information on how the other groups are faring right now?
Not a whole lot. It's kind of hard to get in touch with them.
March was like the last. March was like the real last big time with the ponies. Our March matches. That was so much fun just watching those videos.
I remember the Battleborn nights, and they used to give me shit all the time, and they would hassle me, and they're gone. I didn't even care about them.
Either taken a break or,
laser.
Not enough players.
Okay. One thing I have noticed about UI 2.0, to kind of sort of go back onto that, is that they're going to introduce a lobby system. So I know we've dug deeply into the game code and found a picture of a bunch of Centurions in a lobby and a chat window, and you're actually going to see what map is upcoming, and you'll have, and sort of, they even touched on dropship mode. Dropship mode and lobby mode, and lobby and dropship mode are kind of merged back together, where you can see who's in your group. You can click on their dropship, see what 4 mechs they have, and then you can see what map is coming up, and you'll go drop on it. So that's actually something to look forward to.
Okay, so we got Stompy Robot coming next week for an interview. That's going to be fun. I actually want them to take part in our conversation, so I'm going to try to keep it, I guess, PG for once, just, for their sake. Also, I want to give them a chance to duck out if they don't like anything.
That shouldn't be a problem.
If we're too hard-hitting for them.
Yeah, I want them to actually be successful. I do, because I do kind of like heavy gear. I've played it. It's all right. Vass?
Yeah, in general, you want some competition if it's just giant robots fighting each other. Because if there's no competition, one and the only side gets lazy. Then, it's not pretty. We are bringing them on.
Not only
it
that,
should be great. I'm very excited. I wanna know more.
Hawken isn't really anything, but
I think it's like sort of the
NVIDIA
gear. Shield. Hawken is like the NVIDIA Shield flagship, and that's I don't know where they're getting their funding now. It's kind of floating. But I don't know how it got there.
It looks like Engage 2.0. Like the
heavy
second
gear
I saw it.
Is definitely something that could be. And someone was asking what that was like. Was it like Mech Warrior? I want to say it's kind of like Mech Warrior 2, but faster. You're constantly moving around and shooting and trading shots and everything. The cool thing about it is it's like you've got Votoms. It's like quite literally the way the mechs work and everything is like Votoms, or Zaku's, or Gundams, or whatever. Valk has a form for questions that everybody can go to. I guess we're gonna have a link dropped for that. Do you have a link on that?
Well, I'll have a link. I'll
We
ask
are
Valkyrie.
accepting community questions, basically. If you have anything you want to ask, feel free to fill it out. We'll bring it up.
And
We'll try to bring it up.
you can send that to Valkyrie's thread, and we'll pick you up, and we'll try to get everybody we can, I swear. And Val is with us right now in spirit on his phone.
Help his mom.
Yeah, technical difficulties.
Helping move, yeah.
He's helping his
Rip
mom,
Valk.
so yeah.
So I guess that's it. That was Concast. Jude, would you like to play us out?
What?
Yeah.
I don't have anything prepared. Fuck you. Get out.
Okay,
Sing us a
guess
song,
you're
old
gone.
man. Sing us something sexy.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. You guys gonna join me? Oh
Not even.
Lord. And
this
I've
Billy
been
Joel?
waiting. No. How do you not know this? It's
Please don't edit this out. I want this to actually be.
why, come on, let's sing.
I don't listen to
Everybody
old people
fucking
music.
sing.
Okay, but something we not that.